and gonna give you control right now. All right, there we go.
Awesome, thanks a lot.
All right, I'm gonna go on mute. You guys have fun.
No, yeah, don't leave too far, okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna be on the call for about 30 minutes, so I'm not gonna be available.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, guys, so Xcode, I hope those who have MacBooks, you got to install it. Those who don't have MacBooks, you're gonna watch today. Actually, pretty much like everyone, but MacBooks owner, they will be able to practice it later. Because as of now, MacBook owners, you won't be doing same as what I'm going to do, because it's gonna take time and we don't want to take this time from those who don't have MacBook. But it's not gonna be that much information. As I told you before, Android Studio and Xcode, there is a big difference and you will see why. So let's rock and roll. So when you open your Xcode, you wanna start with creating a new Xcode project. It's similar-ish to Android Studio with the small differences, which like it really makes not much difference to you. Just give a name to your project. Mine is always going to be Flex October. Here, if you work in a specific team, it will be, yeah, here. It will be listed here. And you will have to choose in which team you want to create this project. Basically, Xcode, it's being used for writing and implementing applications, same as Android Studio. So developers, they use Xcode, they create this project, they type in code, create application, and they can install it from here. Hi, on campus team. So you choose a team if you have any. In my case, as you can see, I don't have any. You can leave it as it is. Organization, identifier, same. Click next. You're gonna save this project on your desktop. Please. So here it is. Since we're not gonna write our application tonight, we already have like a sample, the simplest sample you can imagine. Hello world. We're gonna see it on our simulator. This code is written in Swift. You can choose either Swift or Objects. Yeah, Object-C. This one, so we didn't choose it, so by default it's Swift. Here you can see this is your project name, and from here you can choose your simulator. Here it says Mac. Okay, so by default it was chosen Mac OS. As you understand, you can change any default settings that you can see, and they have quite a bit default settings. So for some reason it was Mac OS. We're gonna choose Mac iOS, iOS, and from here you can choose what device you want to simulate. So here the list is quite long. You can choose iPad, iPod, iPhone. For macOS, it's going to be a slightly different list. So I'm going to choose iPhone 13. And once you click on this play button, you will see your simulator being invoked, and this application is going to be shown on your simulator. So this is how it looks. Here you can see your progress. And on the background, your simulator is being built. It takes much less time than Android and emulator, as you can compare now. So now it's going to show the application, the hello world. If you, okay. It takes not as long, but still takes some time. So if you want to change here, I'm going to be comparing ADB emulator and simulator and ADB commands with simulator console commands quite a while, quite a few times today. So we can see the list of all simulators that we already have on our devices through console. It's not like Android Studio. In Android Studio, you have to create your emulator. You have to compile and download OS versions. With Xcode, it's already pre-existing. And you will see your list of your devices if you use this command. What it stands for, I can't make it bigger, but XCRUN, it means Xcode run. The second one, SIMTL, typo, SIMCTL. So it stands for simulator control. And now it's supposed to show us a list of simulators that have been on this machine. Here it is. So if you can see anything on this screen, you can see all of the Apple Watches, iPhones, iPads, Apple TVs. This all already exists. It was downloaded along with your Xcode. You can you can't sort of like create your own simulator. You can choose from what you have. How you can choose those? Hold on.
Can you please tell us again what was the command to list the devices? There is a person asking, people asking in the chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna type it.
Thank you.
In the chat. If Isaac can help me exit this console. I don't see anything that can help me with that. Isaac? Yes, Edgar is right, except for its Xcode run, simulator control, and then you need a list. Did I? Oh my God. Yes, it's X, not S. I don't know why it's S. XCRUN, simulator control list. Okay, now it's correct. And Ozzy is still not helping.
I think he says on a 30 minutes call.
Really, he said that?
Did you try like Control C or typing exit or anything, or scrolling down, see if you can type anything?
It's not
He's here, yeah.
working because it's not my computer. I think that's why.
What's up?
Yeah, can you please minimize or close console window?
Okay, that's weird. Why isn't it going down? No. All right, here we go. Is it
Awesome.
good?
Yes.
Yeah, just ping me, please, on this one. I have another 15 minutes and then I'll be with you, okay?
Okay.
Just let me mute first. Let me mute.
Okay, thank God we're not gonna use console too many times because there are very few commands that we can use when we apply commands to simulator. So you can take like screenshots, records. And there are, once we're done with the sharing screen, I will show you a list of commands. It's very short, and I'm not sure if you will ever need those, but a link to those commands is in our Confluence. Another way to choose simulator. You want to open Xcode, open developer options, and here you can see simulator option. This is how can you open it. A command to run from console is open space hyphen a simulator. Let me close it.
And I have a question. Can you explain a little more about type of new documents? I mean, we can open, for example, file, playground, project, package, workspace. What's the difference between them?
I think the difference makes sense to developers only. To me, as a QA, as I'm not going to build any application on it, I'm going to use a file provided to me by most likely engineers. And I would just follow the steps that I just showed you because the file already exists for me.
Okay.
Yeah, what I was doing. I don't know why this command isn't open this simulator. It's supposed to open though. All the simulators that you can see here, they all have same version, same build version. And this build version, I think it's 15, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, all iOSs here are 15. Why they are 15? Because this Xcode version is 13. And that's how it works. And of course, Xcode new versions, they're released quite often, and every new version, it comes with OS build that is Xcode version +2. I don't know why so, but that's how it works. So by default, you will have, in our case, a 15th version, because our Xcode is version number 13. Does it make sense to you?
It is weird, but it makes sense, yes.
It is weird, I agree. So this is how you can change it. Even though, if we all, as we all remember, we have to have 3 versions of iOS to test on, current, previous one, and like upcoming one. We still don't have to stick to those. We can change. We might want to test on older versions. So this is how you can change it on your Xcode. By the way, so if you noticed, for simulator, I will have different different options here, because when I'm on Xcode, it's solely for Xcode. Simulator has its own settings and preferences. So make sure that you are on simulator, that you see simulator here. Then you want to click on File, Open Simulator. And from here, in our case, we're going to be choosing from different iOSs, but you also can choose different versions of TV, watch, whatever you need for testing. So iOS. Goodness gracious. Hold on, this is not where you can change it. Just a second. So from here, you can change a device that will be your default device. When I opened it, default was Mac OS. From this menu, you can choose whatever device you want to create simulator for. Let's make it 12. So now this is going to be your default option. To choose another iOS version, you need to go back to Xcode, click on Xcode, Preferences. Sorry. Okay, it's Xcode Preferences and then Components here. So from here, you can choose different OS versions. We're not going to test anything tonight, so it really makes no difference right now which one to choose. Apparently, you will have to enter your password to be able to download it. How you can download or get logs on Xcode. So you want to open console, which is already pre-installed on every MacBook. And here you have all the information. Here you can see your devices that you just created. I mean, devices in simulators that you just created. And you can see crash reports, if there were any log reports. It's all here. You can find it here. Not much information, but this is everything that you can get for iOS. How can you find logs on your physical Apple device? Let me show you that. There is also not much information. That's all that you can get from physical device. So, okay, I will show you when Ozzy stops sharing his screen. Now I can't show you that. Okay, so I think this is everything that I can show you from Xcode from Ozzy's screen. The rest I can tell you without having this screen on. Azamat, if you're there, can you please stop sharing your screen?
Okay, stop sharing, yes?
Yes, yes, that's
Okay,
it.
stop sharing. Okay,
Thank you very much. So that was just as simple as that. As a QA, you won't be able at least as a manual QA, you won't have to do much with Xcode. I showed you like main flows that you'll be using. Just adding your application to a project, started running on your simulator device, collecting logs, crash logs, if you have any. And since I already have access to my screen, here, this file, you can download, again, on your simulators, you won't be able to install regular IPA file, the one that you can install on your Apple devices. You will have to have a specific file created for simulators. You won't be able to install a regular file because simulator, it's not a virtual device. It's like another application on your MacBook. It uses all your MacBook resources. You really can't simulate battery life on your simulator.
Are you sharing the screen or because we can see it?
I will share, but for now I'm just talking.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so share. So you will have to have a specific file to be able to install it on simulator. Here in under one of the links that I shared in Confluence, this one, you can find this file. It was created specifically, it was by one proactive engineer. It was created specifically for testing on simulators. This is really simple application. It's just a calculator. So you get yourself into GitHub repository and you can grab this application's code. How you do that? Just download zip. Open it in your folder and unzip it. In there, let me find it. Okay, it's in one of these folders, there will be a file that you can click on twice, and it will open Xcode along with your simulator. Unfortunately, I can't show that on my computer. Okay, I'll find that file later and I'll send it in our Slack chat so you know what you should look for. So once you have that file, if you remember that play button, that's the button you have to, once you created your project, you will have to tap on that button and it will start running your application. Here, if you ever, again, I haven't worked much with simulators and Apple devices in general in all my work life. But if for some reason you will have to have older version of Xcode, you can find it here. Probably the only one reason that I can think of is that it won't match with your Mac OS. Here you can find more information to read about differences between emulator and simulator, but the main ones I already voiced. Emulator is a virtual machine. It has, it's as close to real device as it could be. Simulator is just another application on your machine that it tries to simulate something, but it's really like poor version, my personal opinion. It's a poor version of Android emulator. And testing on simulators, it's not very accurate. I'm not saying that testing on emulators is 100% accurate. I've mentioned that before. There are certain mistakes that can be done. You sometimes can file bugs that you see on emulators, but they're not reproducible on real devices. But on simulator, chances to have good testing even lower. And here are those comments that you might want to use with your simulator. Not many of them, just if you want to practice. And this Friday, when we're gonna have our final, you probably wanna test something on simulator just for the sake of experience, just to see how it works for you. No, I'm taking my words back because Looking Bass, they don't have that that version of application. So yeah, for experience, you can only use that calculator application that you can find on this file. So basically, this is all the information about Xcode and simulator. What I wanted to show that there is a big difference if we spend so much time practicing with emulator, with ADB code, ADB commands. This is how little time we spend with Xcode. Any questions? And again, we can't have much practice because we don't have an app for that.
I have a question. In your experience, in which cases you use simulator or Xcode?
Igor, in my current experience, I don't use it at all. I'm working with Android team only. I worked with Xcode. Like quarantine started, 2020, right? So roughly 2 years ago, because I was locked in my my house, and I had to test on something. That's when I used intensively Xcode and Android Studio, because I had to create simulators and emulators. But as I already answered this question, all I had to do just actually projects were pre-created, like I created them and I was reusing them unless I had new version. So I had file, I had my project created, and I was just opening simulator with my application being installed on it and tested. That's all that I did as a QA.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, but again, I'm a big fan of Android and Android Studio, and I hope you can see the drastic difference between those. So iOS, again, Android is an open source. iOS is not, because iOS doesn't like sharing. They give you very little access to the information. Since I have my screen back and I can share with you my Android, damn it, Apple device. I keep using Android everywhere. So don't mind me substituting everything with Android.
Yeah, there is another question, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So the question is, with considering how little information we have about Xcode, if we go over this information and go over some of those commands, the question number one, is that enough for like an interview or not at all? Or if anyone, because if anyone asks, as you said, you probably said before that they don't, right? If people ask about those simulator commands, especially for iOS testing, if it's a position for iOS testing, is it something that I want to know? Which I think I would, but we're not really. I know that right now you're doing Android, but previously you tested on iOS. So
yeah, so I can say that I had many questions asked, like Xcode related questions asked. I was asked whether I had experience. Yes, I did have experience. They never dived into depths with Xcode or simulators. Basically, what I shared with you, that was everything that I knew back then. It was enough for me, because positions that I had, I was working with, so either it was 100% Android or it was Android with iOS. So my knowledge was enough to test on iOS, because I never worked at a team that was 100% iOS. Probably, if you want to show that you know more, you have more experience using Xcode, working with simulators, probably you want to practice and explore some settings. I would say settings, just go through them.
my concern is like, if it's like a mixed position, Android or iOS, or if it's mostly iOS or iOS, that it questions that are going to be asked. I feel like I'm way more prepared for Android, just because I've executed a lot of ADB commands, etc., and worked with emulator, device farms, all that stuff. That's why I feel very prepared for that. With iOS, it kind of what's going to happen, we don't know. But thank you for your answer.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. You just. I think you said what others think. You said it out loud. Yes, there is not much information about Xcode, but as I said, they don't like sharing information. You know how to collect logs. Now I'm going to show you how to find logs on physical device. So basically, especially for like junior or mid-level, that should be enough. You know how to work with simulator, you know how to collect logs. You will know if you console comments. You know how to change build version, you know how to change device version. Like, from my point of view, it's already good amount of knowledge to present during your interview. From my point of view. And again, I repeat myself. I was asked questions about iOS and Xcode. I think I passed. But whatever I told you, I pretty much same I said to my interviewer.
By the way, do you know if like, did they ask you any specific questions about iOS operating system, like anything, something that's like that usually like very specific or anything else, or not really? If you remember, if not, that's okay.
What I think. Mhm. What I was asked is just versions, that's it. I think that was it.
You mean like versions of the iOS that you
Yes.
tested on?
Yes.
The versions that you know? Okay. All right,
Yes.
thank you.
I'm trying to recall, but yeah, I was not prepared for this question.
Oh,
Anya,
it's okay.
there is a Edgar question is that he's saying I downloaded the Looking Bus app in my iPhone. Can I add the Looking Bus to the simulator so he can test it?
So for a simulator, you will have to have another format. It needs .app format. As for real device, you need to have .ipa. So for Android, we can use same file for emulator and for real device, which is APK file. In case of Apple, we don't have that privilege. So we have to have a specific file that can be used on simulator.
So that means we're not going to be able to test the Looking Bus application on simulator?
This means yes.
Okay, thank you.
So sorry, Edgar, I saw your hand raised, so I was waiting for you to talk.
No, it's cool. Juvetta read the question to you. That was my question because I did download the app on my physical device, and I can connect it. You know, when we did the Charles debugging proxy, it would show the app on there, and through the test flight, I downloaded that. But I was just wondering for the simulator if I could run it on that. But you answered my question. Thank you. Thank you, Shweta.
Actually, it also can be mentioned during your iOS interview to say that you know the difference, that you know that you will have to they will have to provide you a very specific file that you can use for simulator testing.
So there is no converter for that, right? In the free access, as far as I understand, only if they provide you the app file, right?
Yeah, no, in Apple, I don't think that it would
Okay.
allow.
Okay, I was having my hopes too high. I'm sorry. I just
Maybe I'm I never looked for that. I would say no, and probably on the verge of illegality, converting Apple's API file to whatever can be installed on simulator. Never looked for that, but I think my answer would be no.
Can you say one more time about extension for simulator for Apple? I mean, file which we have to install. APA, I mean,
Yeah, it's .app.
app, it's for simulator, yes, app.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
One question, the Looking Bus app, does it support the iPad?
That's a good question. I think no. I never tried it. Well, I don't have iPad, but I think no.
I
It's-
tried, but the UI is jumbled up.
Oh yeah, so probably it doesn't support the resolution.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so next what I have in our agenda, I'm gonna cover it briefly. It's useful and it will be used during your final, but let's take 5 minutes break, please. And that is like another 30 minutes for this location and network. What do you think?
Okay.
Okay, 5 minutes. Okay, I forgot to show you how to find logs on a real Apple device. I hope everyone's here, and I'm going to show you my Apple screen. Okay.
Hey, Anya, how did you do that? That was cool.
This is a QuickTime Player.
All right.
So you right click, movie recording. And once it opens its movie, to the right of this red button, there is a drop-down menu, and you choose your device.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, finding logs. So you open settings, then privacy analytics. Okay, you don't see it. Okay, so privacy and analytics, they are here, second from the bottom. So you tap on that. And second from the top, analytic data, and these are your logs. You can choose any of them. That's what you get. You can share. That's it. And compared to Android logs, is how short iOS logs are. So this is it. That's all that I wanted to show you regarding Xcode, simulators, and iOS logs. Network and battery. So here I'm going to briefly cover network, battery, and location simulation. You already saw this. Just a second. You already saw this picture, right? So it includes pretty much everything that you need to remember about when you think about testing. It will be like, keep it handy and read it before going to your interviews. As I said, talk until they stop you. So just memorize this one. And here, as you can see, it includes network. And I also mentioned it when we spoke about Charles Proxy, that you can simulate a network, different network levels, and you can test your application's performance. Very important testing. Here also location. How you can simulate location. For Android, there is an option under Android. Let me connect my Android so you can see it.
If you don't mind, Anya, I actually tested this one today and yesterday. I downloaded fake GPS for my Android for looking bus testing.
Okay.
And yeah, so there is a lot of them, guys. You can try them. They're free and everything.
Yeah, there is a link like this one. It's literally a link to one of them. Yeah, I'm just gonna briefly show what it comes from. Visor. Okay, so it's going to be under your developers option, and there will be a mock location. So here you can see that there is no mock location application to select. As Victor said, you will have to download one, this one.
Yeah, will ask you, it will not work. It will tell you to go to developer options and turn on the mock locations, just so you guys know. So yeah, just do what Anya says with that. Just go to mock locations.
So in the beginning, Azamat was helping me. Now Victor is helping me. Teamwork. Great. Yeah. So in emulator, let me start my emulator. Okay, so on my emulator here, I can mock. So you can mock either a single point or a root, which can be useful for looking bus. So you basically just set A to B root here. And remember that whatever you set under your extended control, it will be applied to all your emulators. It's not just for one single emulator. It will be applied to all of them. So don't forget, if you don't need it in your future testing, don't forget to clear whatever you has changed in your settings. As I said, this is going to be a really short talk about location. Battery, I think it's not covered here. Also, it's, as you can imagine, important to test your battery levels, especially when phone dies, how your application behaves. So I was discussing this question with my engineers today. So what we built a new feature, and I asked engineers what's expected behavior if I'm not gonna name what exactly is going on, but the main idea is that how our application behaves when device's battery dies in the middle of the process. So they told me what is expected, and I'm, as a tester, will have to make sure that it works as expected. So I will have to run this test, write and run, because it's one of the high priority test cases in my current scenario. So how can you simulate battery or emulate? So as I said, on simulator, you cannot do that because simulator is an application on your machine. You can do it on emulator though. here. From 0 to, oh, actually, if you get it down to 0, it's gonna shut down. Let's see. Well, it was supposed to shut down.
I think it's not going to shut down because the battery status is charging. So maybe try to change that. That's my intuition telling me, I don't know.
Huh. It's weird that it has a pin code. In order to try this on your physical device, and this one is supposed to work, there is an ADB command here.
Записывай, пожалуйста. Все, пишет он.
Okay, you see my device, right? Right. The command is adb shell dumpsys battery set level, and then you set level of battery that you want to test. I'm gonna set it to 0. So that's the expected behavior. It just shut down. So you can use this ADB, this ADB command. So last time I mentioned get prop ADB command. That one, it shows you your device information. Dumpsys, it shows you your system information. Hold on, but wait, to exit this, you have to type in ADB shell dumpsys battery reset. Okay, it's turning on. Hold on. So how this works? Your application is trying to figure out the level of battery charge, but by running this command, you sort of like lying to your app, saying that no, this is not correct level, this one is correct battery level. So this is how you can trick your application in order to charge it, to test its behavior at different battery charge level. Okay, let's see what it does. Okay, so you can see on my real device screen that now it shows 50% instead of 100 as it used to be. So does this testing is clear to you? Is this testing clear to you?
Yeah, I have a question. Have you ever run into a situation that like battery level drastically changes the behavior of the application? Like it makes it very obvious.
I have not, but you have to ask you. I don't think that any application will drastically change its behavior. unless it's screen light. That's what comes to my
'Cause
mind.
I've never seen anything like anything crazy or anything like that.
If you're downloading something or uploading something, this can be affected by a battery level. That's what I can think of. Those examples only come to my mind. What else? I don't know, guys. Where would you use battery testing for?
A job. Apple's actually hiring battery testers for their battery SQAs right now.
I
That would be one, right?
Oh, Edgar, you went muted.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, no, you were talking and then you went muted.
Oh, okay. I actually, I would say, like I said, for work, right? To test the battery life on the phones. Actually, I have no idea, to be honest with you. I was just talking. So that's, I'm gonna mute myself now.
Okay, so I keep thinking, where else would I use it in my current job?
Well, you can use battery usage to see how much your application will drain battery. Comparing to your competitors, you can use some like you did, like some stress testing, then how application will act in those scenarios. Like battery is dead, it's a low battery. If it's any difference between echo mode and real mode, because usually in echo mode system use less resources, so app might start working slower. So that's probably a couple of scenarios that I can think of.
Yeah, those are good examples. Probably your application won't change its behavior if a battery dies, but you want to make sure the behavior won't be changed. Doesn't make sense to you because you can be sure that no, we have nothing that can be interrupted or destroyed or prevented from running, but you want to make sure that your guess is correct. And actually that's the bug. If you don't expect, but once your battery is about to die, your application completely crashes or it doesn't work. It doesn't function the way it was supposed to function. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I understand, because battery is actually some hardware malfunction, and that hardware malfunction can do some damage to the application. I remember like a year ago or something, Apple released a new safe chip or they have that say nobody could break, and hackers would break the chip by just crashing the hardware. So it's like it's completely done, it's resetting, and then during the hardware reset, there's a moment that they could get in and break the chip and break the security of iPhone to get the data. So hardware issues might crash the application. So that's, I think, battery resetting testing can be important to see how application will run.
Yeah, but again, don't get confused between testing battery and testing application when battery levels, charging levels are different. There is a difference. It's like, this is an illustration of difference between mobile testing and mobile app testing. Just don't get confused. This also, like when there is a quite often question, how would you test this? And you may include this answer. It's like, I would test the battery level. I don't know where you can include it, but don't leave it aside. This is important. Probably you won't be running it 7 times a day, but don't forget to at least discuss it with your engineers, whether it should be included or it should be not. Interruption. I think one of your team, you're gonna have this on your final interruption testing, and I brought this up a few times. You can see it here. This is how we live our lives today. Mobile devices, we get interrupted everywhere and at all times. Important testing, configuration. Frankly, out of all of this, here it's like an explanation how it works, what it is. Only one useful for me. It's a rotation from portrait mode to landscape mode. This like turning event changes configuration, and well, one activity is being stopped or killed and another one isn't created yet. That's when you get this rotation bug, which is also very important in mobile testing. I find a lot of bugs when switching from portrait mode to landscape mode. Don't forget to include that in your testing. I know the looking bus, it doesn't support rotation, right?
No, it doesn't.
So you didn't have chance to test it, but you do understand what I'm talking about, right? I think we all, at least once in our lives, we saw how screen gets distorted, images shrink or expand. So that is also an important part of testing. And I think I've covered everything. Location, network, yes, network. So new 5G, you can, if you haven't read about that, you can read here about this information. You can include it in your testing, but it's not required. As of now, in my current testing, we don't include 5G. We discussed how we can change network through Charles proxy. I hope you practice it. So I think this is it. We've covered everything. Get ready for Friday. If you have any questions that you want to ask before interview, please do it before Friday. Okay.
Okay.
You know what? I do have a question, Anya, but it's not regarding any of this. I was going over the Charles class that we did the other day, and I pulled up my Charles proxy, and under, I mean, I didn't have this issue. I know somebody had an issue in the class where it wasn't showing the JSON text or the JSON under, you know, where it has a text field where it says raw, JSON, text, and JSON under the Charles proxy. When I pulled it up today, just trying to get some practice in, and the JSON field, text field, it wasn't there. I don't even have an option to click on it. How did the other student resolve it last week, or on Monday, was it? Oh no, last week, yeah. Do you remember?
They didn't resolve it when I was there. Maybe they can answer, guys who had this issue. How did you resolve it?
Because when I pull up my, I'm sorry, I know this is, but I was like, man, how come it's not where I wanted to get some practice in, you know? And I opened up my Charles app, Charles proxy app, and that whole thing disappeared. And I was like, oh my God, I know somebody in class didn't have the option either. So I don't know where it went. And I don't know, I was thinking about just uninstalling it and reinstalling it. But when we're under sequence, and then we can pick at the bottom how we want to read it. I mean, you know what I'm saying, right?
Yes. I like during the last session, that was the very first time I saw it myself. I'm trying to start my Charles proxy right now to see maybe I also got this issue. I didn't have it, but
Yeah, and I was
some
like,
weird stuff is going on. Like today, I was trying to install certificate on my Android tablet, and I was not able. Like 100% rejection. So some weird stuff happens.
okay, yeah, because I was like, man, what is going on?
See, the
So-
weird stuff does happen. Like last Friday, on the Friday, I wasn't able to configure Charles proxy on my phone at all. Like it was big struggle. So yeah, sometimes maybe it works.
Yeah, and I gotta turn off the manual proxy. I have to remove it from my phone because if I have it on there, like, is that normal behavior? Like if I added the manual IP address for the server and then the 888 to connect to the Charles proxy, but then when I'm done and I close my laptop, just going about my business, my internet doesn't work too well after that. So is that normal?
Not really.
That happened to me too, and I put it where it was before to get the internet back.
Okay, guys. So this is it on my side. I'll see you on Friday.
Thank you.
Enjoy preparation.
All right, cool. Thank you for the class. Appreciate it.
Yeah. You guys have a good night.
Hey,
Wait,
Vic,
Thank you.
Anya,
have a
I
meeting?
have a question.